Thursday, August 10th, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I'm going to do an early market update, and I want to talk about copper as well, the base metal. And yeah, it's moving quite stealthily up, and I think it's an indicator of either stagflation or economic pickup. I think it could be the former. But anyway, it's 9:20 a.m. London time. So spot gold right now, it's at $12.79, up $2. The high's been just above $12.80. Silver is doing very well. Silver has broken through $17. The high's been $17.09. Right now we're at $17.05, so silver's up 10 cents. The Dow future is down 32 at 22,005. We have touched 22,000, so yeah, down not that much, 30 points. S&P 500 down 5.5 points, or 0.25% at 24.67. As per the currencies are not doing too well. The pound is down 0.33% at 129.68. The euro is down just under 1/3 as well at 117.25. The dollar, though, is down against the Japanese yen at 109.94, down 11 pips. So, yeah, I want to talk about copper, because a lot of times copper is a good indicator of what the economy does. And I'm reading here from Investopedia, and they say Dr. Copper. They call it Dr. Copper. And it says, market lingo for the base metal that is reputed to have a PhD in economics because of its ability to predict turning points in the global economy. Because of copper's widespread applications in most sectors of the economy, for homes and factories, to electronics, power generation and transmission, demand for copper is often viewed as a reliable leading indicator of economic health. The demand is reflected in the market price of copper. Generally, rising copper prices suggest strong copper demand and hence a growing global economy, while declining copper prices may indicate sluggish demand and an imminent economic slowdown. So, but they do say, there is a caveat. It says, breaking down Dr. Copper, investors are cautioned that Dr. Copper is not infallible and should not be relied upon as the only indicator of economic health. So I think, you know, it's a bit mixed, because if you look at the longer term charts in copper, and I'll bring both of them up. The very long term chart going to the 1960s. This is the one I want to talk about first, because yeah, recently the price of copper has indicated economic growth, a rising copper price, and vice versa. But in the 70s, where we had stagflation, you can see that copper was very cyclical as well. Up from the Vietnam era there in the mid 60s to the early 70s, copper went up, but it did have a couple of cycles up and down. And then copper also went up prior to 1975 there, and then came down, and then stayed around, half a dollar, 50 cents. By the way, this is high-grade copper. It's traded on COMEX. There's also the normal copper contract on the LME, London Metals Exchange. But as you can see there, from around 1977 to 1980, copper, almost tripled in value, from 50 cents to $1.50, and you could argue the 70s was a period of stagflation, a stagnant economic growth, and rising prices, and copper did fairly well, even though it was volatile. And then from the 1980 to 2005, for example, we stayed stuck between 50 cents and $1.50. And it's only been since I would argue Greenspan's, how can I say, very accommodative monetary policies, that copper started to go up. And I have to say as well, probably China's entrance, in China's economic growth in the last 20 years has helped copper as well. And you can see there that copper spiked all the way above 4 just before the 07-08 crisis. Then it crashed during that crisis, back down below 1.5, and then when they started throwing the kitchen sink, the QE, and all the bailouts, copper rallied and made a new all-time high there at 464, and that was pretty much the time when silver topped in 2011, and copper has come down. The low was in early 2016 there, just on the 2 level, and now it's rebounding quite strongly, as you can see. And I'll bring up a shorter term chart here to show you what copper has been doing of late. As you can see, we bottomed in 09, at the bottom of the crisis there, just before the stock market started going up, and then we topped beginning of 2011 at 463. That was the year that, that's when silver went up to almost $50 as well. And we've been in a downward trend. We've done a little flag formation, and we've broken out of that flag formation late last year. And now you can see we're testing that $3 mark, which is a pretty important retracement. It's basically the 50% retracement from the 09 bottom to the all-time high. And so copper needs to get, high-grade copper needs to get above 3, and you can see that the technicals look very bullish. And the reason why copper is important as well for precious metals is because silver and copper are highly correlated. Silver basically is mined as a byproduct of copper mines. There's very few mining companies that focus just on silver mining. A lot of times there's copper involved. So if the copper prices go up, that means that it's going to help silver as well, because people, because silver is a byproduct of copper. So it will make silver more expensive. A byproduct of silver, copper mines. So let's have a look here at the prices again. And I'm looking also at high-grade copper. This morning it's down 28 cents, or 0.28 of a cent. It's down 28 cents. Or actually, it's not down 28 cents. It's only down 2 cents, not significantly lower. We're at 2.93, basically high-grade copper. The high's been 2.95. We haven't gotten up to that 3 level yet. If you listen to Alan Greenspan, what he said recently, that he thinks, bond yields are due to go higher, and that he sees stagflation. I know the bond yields are still quite subdued. Yesterday they dropped a bit, but yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on copper a bit more. As I finish here, gold is at $12.79, silver is at $17.05. The other thing that the strength in the precious metals and the base metals could signify is global conflict or war. All these, if you think of a major world war, you're going to need a lot of base metals, a lot of silver. So hopefully that's not what's indicating. So if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and follow me on steemit.com as well. And you can also donate to the channel. There's some links below in the description. I'll talk to you later. Bye.